Welcome back to Judith Plains, Montana. I'm BP, and this is the 555 Challenge. We are in August, guys. It is a beautiful, sunny morning. Heading back from the bakery, had to go pick up bread again overnight. We're producing so much bread that the storage is full before the end of the day, which is just great news as far as potential income, but does make it a bit of a nuisance having to run up there every day. I'd love to start working on our distribution center, but as you guys can see, negative $18,572 is not leaving us much room to get anything built today. So we got to just keep going with the grind and live through the pain, and then we will get out on the other side and have our systems set up. So for now, this morning, let's get as much of this bread into the cold storage as we can. I'm hoping we don't have to hand load any of this, but getting this trailer in there could prove to be a bit challenging. It's a little bit long for the doorway. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's about as much as we're gonna get off of this trailer. We're hitting the rack, so let's see about pulling some of these back and grabbing a few more. Just pull them in here and get them all stored. We are going to have just an absolute stockpile of bread here. 106 pallets of bread. We are going to be making bread on the bread, as they say, guys. So the rest of August, let's take a look. There's really not that much to do in August for us. And I think if we look back at the episode from last August, we were in a similar position. Not a lot of money, not a lot going on, just sort of working our way through the fall. So let's make sure our animals are topped off. Let's make sure that our productions are topped off. And from there, we will probably get into September fairly quickly. Now, I can tell you, in checking on the animals this morning, we are in need of getting some milk up to the dairy. We have a lot of milk in the dairy barn and enough in the buffalo barn that it probably makes sense to run that up to the dairy as well and get some buffalo mozzarella in the works. So let's start this morning by grabbing our Welker dairy trailer here. And we'll head over to the dairy barn, get filled up, and we'll send him over to the dairy in town to start getting everything dropped off. From there, and the triple axles on this, I feel like I'm sliding on my turns. Might just be making it up, but may want to go back to the tandems instead of the triaxle setup. We'll see how this goes. But with the uneven terrain on this map, it just feels like every time I hit an uneven spot, it just slides. The front wheels come up because we have so much ground contact, which is great for traction and great for getting power down, but may not be what we're looking for in regards to being able to steer the way we want to. So while he's getting filled up, we will get him. Oh yeah, we can't do this because we're filling. All right, let's pull up a little bit. All right, are we good here, guys? Are we gonna make it? Okay, good. Getting caught on stuff. Let's set this guy to go empty. All right, so we want to fill at the farm, dairy milk. We already did that. We want to empty at the dairy inn, and we're talking about milk. Go ahead and get him started. Send him on his way to the dairy, and we are in excellent shape. We'll catch up with him, have some eggs to be delivered to town. We got lots and lots of wool from the sheep. Again, overnight was in here well past midnight picking it up because it fills up the spawn trigger. I feel like we need to just sort of establish that spawn triggers should be at least 2 or 3 levels high. And I know it could probably be tough when you have milk and cotton and stuff like that, but man, this barn with 500 animals, if we had all sheep in here, we would be producing even more wool, and we're not even making it through half a day before it fills up. So it'd be nice to have a bigger spawn area, or make it vertical, I guess, increase the area by standing it up. All right, let's get some bales put in over here. I have been toying with the idea since we went to the dual narrows on the Versatile, and it doesn't fit into the dairy barn. I don't think it'll fit into either dairy barn, actually. I'm wondering if we should pick up a telehandler. Obviously, we don't have the money for it today, but we can watch in the sale, and maybe when we sell some stuff like whiskey or bread or clothes and we make a bunch of cash, we could pick up a cheap telehandler. Like to handle the bales with a telehandler. That Bale Pro Grabber from Black Sheep Modding will work with the telehandler as well that we already have. And if we're going to continue doing bales for the sheep, which I think we are, it'd be nice to have a tool dedicated to getting those things moved. Now, what's interesting is, and I'll show you here before we... Actually, let's do this. Let's send the top kick on his way. Just get him pulled up here. And we want to send him to the spinnery. Need to get him turned. And I remember, I don't know that we changed the settings after his crash last episode. Let's turn his turning speed down. We can actually turn his driving speed up as long as his turning speed is slower. So he's on his way. So I did set the silage silo to distributing. So all of our silage is coming over here to our TMR mixer. And guys, we have 1.3 million liters of silage in the TMR mixer. We have 188,000 straw and 755,000 grass and 178,000 hay. So just under about, we have just about 900,000 liters of hay in total once it's converted. So we'll have another roughly 1.6 to 1.8 million liters of total mixed ration once we get through the hay. We will need more straw for that, but we have just about 1.4 now, so we're looking at being in the 3 million liters of TMR, which is going to be really, really nice because those cow barns are not full. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys, and we talked about this, I think it was last episode or maybe the episode before, at the very beginning of this series, when we first got onto the farm, we planted a bunch of trees, and I checked on them recently, and they hadn't done anything. Well, if you start to look over there, you can see our trees, our little saplings have grown up. They're nowhere near fully grown, but we have all of these trees. Look how good that looks. We are going to have so much logging in our future when these grow up. Now, this says it is on, and I have to look this up because I'm not sure we've done this in Farm Sim 25 so far. We're at 355 of 951 hours. So I take that to be about 40% of the way grown. So we still have a while left. Now let's run down here because I put a whole bunch more into the water buffalo pen, and they all popped up too. So we're actually going to get way up high so you guys can see. Look at all these trees in the water buffalo pen. Love the way that looks. This was a big barren hill when we first moved in. The animals were exposed to the wind. You can see, look at those trees just go on. It seems like forever. I mean, we're going these are all our trees, guys, all the way down to this end and then back. So we have, I think it was close to 300 trees that we planted. So we're going to have a lot of lumberjacking to do to get all these trees cut down. We'll leave some of them. I like the way they look, but we did plant them for the forestry aspect and for the production opportunity to cut them down and put them in a sawmill. So just going to check on our barns real quick, and then I think we'll get our productions fed and head on out. These bales are not quite in the trigger. These guys have 125,000 liters of manure and 164,000 liters of food. So we got great manure for our fertilizer. They got lots of food left. Only 5,000 slurry. Chickens, they should be good. I checked on them last night at 40,000 liters of food. That lasts them a long time. The chickens don't eat very much, which is great. And then our water buffalo, because we just fed our sheep, so we know they're fine. There's a little baby water buffalo. See there hanging out. Taking his first couple of steps. Our water buffalo, 91,000 liters of food. We have 14,000 liters of milk we should get up to the dairy. 99,000 liters of straw. 16,000 liters of manure. And 63,000 liters of slurry. So they are also in good shape. I did not see who just arrived, but we can jump in and check and see. Top kick made it down. Did not tip over this time. Love that for us. We're going to send him back to the farm. Back to the farm, please. And then let's see our dairy. Did he empty? Oh, he emptied. That is so cool. So he made it through that parking lot up at the dairy, which is not an easy task. That is a tight parking lot. We're going to step in and take over here, because I don't think I have an auto drive course. Sorry, bud, just cut that truck off. I don't think I have an auto drive course set up for the water buffalo milk. Maybe that's something we'll do between episodes here, but we are getting so close on our crops and the corn. I mean, guys, we have this field, we have the field over there with corn, we have the sunflowers, we have a massive fall harvest season ahead of us. So excited to get all those crops in. We're making a lot more sunflower oil with the sunflowers. We're making a lot more whiskey with the corn, and if there's any barley left over, we will turn it into beer. But for right now, the barley is in the silo, hanging out, waiting to see how much corn we get off the field. I do think it's still worth probably chopping at least one field of corn for silage, even if we end up selling it. You know, we got to figure out how to make more chaff and more silage. The grass is great, but I think it's becoming a bit labor intensive, and we really probably should be using most of the grass for hay. So we'll get both harvesters out into the field. All right, so he is all set. We're just going to send him back to the dairy. Is he going to make that corner around the tree? Ooh, just squeaked it out. Let's head this way, grab our eggs, grab our goat's milk. We'll run that into town, and then, guys, that's going to be it for August. So I might just get this stuff sent. I got to top off the BGA, but once this stuff is en route, really no point in hanging out. We know it'll reach. Let's just see. May as well take the partial pallet today. Not going to hurt anything to do that. I think because we increased our production at the greenhouses by switching to manure, the manure water recipe, I feel like we're making more pasta too, because we really weren't making a lot of pasta previously, and so the eggs were lasting a long time. But I feel like we probably should keep taking the eggs up there, because we've not sold any pasta. I'm hoping it's going to be a decent money maker for us. So here we go. Get the gates closed. You're going to head up to the bakery. Get the eggs delivered. Can't reach bakery delivery. I don't know that I believe you. Really? Bakery pickup? Well, we know you can reach the dairy, so let's go up there and let's see what happened to the course, and we'll go from there. But I think that's going to be it for August, guys. I'll get the rest of this stuff topped off. We'll keep the BGA running, but I think it's time to head into September. We'll do one last quick check. Nothing in here worth selling. I mean, all that 1.393 million liters of TMR worth 171,000. not worth selling. Checking on our fields real quick. Yep, we got, it says this grass field is ready to be harvested. I think it's at stage 3 of 4. It is at stage 3 of 4, so we need 1 more month on this grass field. Corn's looking good, our other corn's looking good, soybeans looking good, our new corn field, our sunflower field, and our grass field all looking good. And we don't need to plant barley today. No, we plant barley tomorrow. So yeah, that's going to be it for August. I will catch you guys in September. See you soon. Welcome to sunny September. We have so much to sell today. We're going to be running around. So to start with, I got the butter and the beer out of the cold storage and am heading to the farmer's market where the beer is the best price. Now, if you remember, we had an issue or a situation where the butter was spawning at the dairy in the August heat, so we had to go put it in the cold storage. But this is not all the butters. Now, after we drop off the beer, we have to run up to the dairy to get the rest of the butter and get that sold. I'm going to stop here and show you guys. We have, I think, 5 things to sell today. So just a great day to be selling stuff. Just have to keep track of all of it and figure out where it all is going to go. So moving in here, we want just the beer. While that loads, let's jump in here. I've organized this by month, and so we have October. We have, let's see, starting with, we have goat cheese to sell. Buffalo mozzarella, we don't have enough to sell. Butter, we have a bunch to sell. Beer, we have a bunch to sell. Cheese, we have a bunch to sell. So just several things that need to get sold. I'm starting to feel a little bit like the in-game dairy may not be up for the task of supporting our productions. I've got everything cranked to 300%, and it's just, I'm on the wrong side of the sell point here, guys. Let me get switched over. I have everything cranked up to 300%, and it's just not keeping up. I think we have 100,000 liters of milk over there, and I have milk selling, milk making butter, milk making cheese. We just have milk doing all the productions we can, and it's not keeping up. So not sure what the long-term solution to that problem is going to be, but my guess is that we're going to have to probably put down our own dairy, which will present some cost issues just in regards to where we put the land, the cost of the production, all that kind of stuff. Now that we're out of debt, let's get this guy set off and mowing. This field is ready to go. In October, I suspect we will have soybeans, 2 small corn fields, and even potentially the sunflower field up here to go ahead and get harvested. This big cornfield here is, we can check and see, it looks really good. I mean, I like how the corn looks, but we are at growth stage 4 of 7, so I suspect that will be spring corn and not summer or late fall corn, so we'll have to see. But this field right here on the right that we own, this is our small across the river corn field. Let's take a quick peek and see. Oh, go around the truck. Yeah, we're on growth stage 6 of 7, fertilized 100%, 92% yield bonus. Yeah, looking good on that corn. That is some tall, good-looking corn. So we are in solid shape. Now, I'm thinking we'll probably chaff the cornfield closest to the farm for silage, because I did make an important, I don't know if I want to call it a discovery, but because we set the silage to distributing last episode, And you remember I showed you we had like 1.3 or 1.4 million liters of silage in the TMR mixer. It is also sending that silage to the biogas plant. So we have a bunch of silage at the biogas plant, which at this point I'm not sure there's any way to get it out. Not that we even need it. We have so much. So I think we're going to, I don't think, we did turn on the silage bunker at the biogas plant so we could get that production running as well. So we'll have that income source heading our way soon. Now, I'm not positive we can get all of the butter, the cheese, and the goat cheese on this trailer in one run. It is a big trailer. I didn't want to bring the Volvo up here with the new aluminum flat deck, just trying to mix it up a little bit, get the Super Duty out and get it used. Plus, we have a lot of tight parking lots to get into, so let's make a plan and see. Cheese is going to the restaurant. That is far away. That's way down by the spinnery. We've been there before. Butter is going to the Subway store, which is most of the way down to the restaurant. Goat cheese is going to Casey's gas station, which I think is just around the corner. So perhaps the thought process here, let's see if we can do this in an intelligent way. Let's get the unload side set to the right. That's done. That's unloaded. Now let's jump back into the production and let's get, which one do we say was going to sell at the gas station? Goat cheese. So we'll jump back into the production, head over here, and goat cheese we want set on storing, and then we're going to come down here and make sure we only load the goat cheese. We'll get all that loaded, run to the gas station, sell it, come back and pick up the butter and the regular cheese and see if we can get down there with just one trip. Yeah, this dairy, so here we'll sort of try to keep it moving here. I'll show you guys, we brought up milk yesterday, but otherwise hadn't brought very much up recently. We have 13,000 liters of buffalo milk after putting 14,000 in yesterday, so that burned just 1,000 liters. Now, I didn't have buffalo mozzarella at 300%. I do now. We have the milk producing butter, cheese, and selling it straight up as bottled milk, all at 300% normal production. And our milk is still 103,000 liters. We're just not getting ahead on that. The goat milk, we certainly could bring up here and run that through from our goat cheese. We seem to get to that. So I just don't feel like, I look at the butter recipe, it's 15 milk, 1,400 cycles per month. The cheese is 3 milk and basically 4,000 cycles a month. So we're getting, 1,200 or 12,000 liters a month we're supposed to be getting. I don't know why that isn't doing more. And then this is supposed to be 14,000 liters here getting through. So we should theoretically be getting through, let's see, cycles per month, 1,440 times 10, that's 14,000. 4,000 times 3 is going to be 12,000. So let's just call that 26,000. And then the butter is going to be 21,000 a month is what it should be, right? If I'm doing that math right. 10 would be 14,400. Another half of that would be 700. Yeah, 22,000. We should be getting through 40 or 50,000 liters of milk a month, and I just don't see that happening. So not sure, there's something going on in the dairy production where it's not producing as much as it's supposed to. Just don't know, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. But if the dairy at 300% is not going to keep up with our 150 cows, we're going to have to find a better option because, guys, I do expect to get to 500 dairy cows in that barn or very close to it before the end of the playthrough. So we would have, theoretically 3 times as much milk as we have now, and we can't afford to have milk just sitting in the production and not doing anything. So, anyways, not a big deal. Let's drop a waypoint here, just so we know where we're going at Casey's. Yeah, see, I thought it was on the far side in the back, and it sure looks like that is the case. Go ahead and get this sold. And oh, there's 38. Another 7, so 45-ish thousand, maybe $46,000. Trying not to run into that guy's field. Up to $53,000 in the bank. So we have next month's loan payment and interest covered. Now we have a bunch of cheese and goat cheese to get sold, and that will get us ahead a little bit. Haven't looked in the sale this morning, not looking for anything specific. We've made a bunch of big upgrade changes to the farm recently, and I feel really, really good about the changes we've made and how not only are they going to work for us now, but how they're going to set us up for the future as well. So we will run all of those until we need more, but I suspect we'll be at a point where we'll need multiple harvesters and things like that when the time comes next. So regular cheese back to storing, butter to storing, goat cheese back to distributing. Sorry, regular cheese is to storing. Yep, we're good. So let's gather these up. This trailer has just funny little spots that get missed on the auto load. It is interesting that the cheese is a slightly different size pallet than the butter. Let's get all this on there. We should have the butter loading up here as well, right? Yeah, butter is set to storing. We're going to have a bunch of butter. Do we have more cheese? Let's see. Cheese we don't have more of, so we can put that back to distributing. And we should be getting the butter out of here, which we have. We have no more butter in here? No, that's right. So the butter, we actually made about 15,000 liters recently, but that all went to the bakery for our pasta, which I don't know when we sell the pasta. I'm sort of excited. We haven't done pasta before. I'm hoping it's going to be a nice money maker for us. So at this point, guys, I'm going to run down to let's call it Subway, I think is our first stop, and then we have the restaurant. I think maybe the cheese goes to Subway and the butter goes to the restaurant, or vice versa, but I'll check in with you guys at Subway when we're down there. Just getting back to the farm after selling the cheese and the butter down at Subway and the restaurant. Something happened with the recording, guys. I apologize. That did not get captured, but we sold both. We're at $109,580. So good sales overall, getting that stuff done. Have a couple of projects left to do here in September. First and foremost, it does look as though the mower is done on the small grass field, so I just want to get this guy pulled out of the way here real quick. Probably should get this Volvo some fuel if I was planning ahead, but we'll let him. Let's see, let's just get him tucked over here and we'll grab some fuel in just a minute. So need to get the mower back over to the farm, get switched out to the baler and get all of this grass baled up. This is the exciting part with the TMR silo making silage. We can just go right into baling. And guys, once again, second episode, I don't know why this tractor doesn't go back to the start point like it's set to, but we can find it. Not a huge deal. Once we get this guy back over here with the baler, our next order of business is going to be to get the Case quad track hooked up to the planter, and it is time to plant the barley field. So we'll get that planted. We'll also have to get that rolled, which will be exciting because we have the new Dalbo Mega Roller that we are going to use, which I think, quite frankly, is going to make very, very short work of our small barley field. I have sent the top kick to the spinnery once today. It was totally full, so 20,000 liters of wool were sent down to the spinnery already, and I suspect we are going to need to run it down there again. So we are still very much so in peak wool season, which is good because clothes was a big moneymaker for us last season, and I'm excited to have clothes back in, I guess we'll call it back in stock and ready to go. For some of you guys that are pretty astute to the details, you may notice a couple of these trees around this shed arrangement changed. Felt like we'd been here for 4 years. Felt like maybe the trees that were here that were on the smaller side probably would have grown over those 4 years. I know that isn't a mechanic and farm sim, so I just swapped them out, put in some mature trees, tried to let the landscape develop a little bit as we play through Judith Plains. Want the farm to sort of be living and developing with us, so try to make little changes like that. I also cleaned up some of the, we'll call it decorations around the farm, mostly junk. There's a whole bunch of dollies and hand trucks and barrels and hoses, and I didn't get rid of all of them, but just feel like want some of the scenery to change a little bit for you guys and make the farm feel more lived in and, you know, like it's evolving and things are changing. So if you notice that stuff, great, and if you don't, that's okay too. So we'll run this guy back. Let's get him hooked up, all extended, and let's get out of his way. There's the ice cream truck. Maybe we should grab an ice cream. Only 63 degrees, not too hot today. So let's get back to the farm. Let's grab the quad track and see about getting the planter into the barley field. We need the barley done. Man, as I told you guys before, this quad track, I mean, it's got 144 miles on it and almost 40 hours. The paint on this thing has seen better days, but sometimes your big workhorse tractors, they just look like they're big workhorse tractors and got a little wear on the paint. It's okay by me, shows some character. Like to see the tractors that have been on the farm for a while look like they've been on the farm. Keeping things fresh and interesting. So let's get set over to barley. All good to go. We'll run this guy over, and I think the last time we planted the barley field, we did this. Whoop, flipped something there. We did this with the old case planter, the old case seeder. So I'm not sure we have a course set up for this machine to plant barley, so we'll probably have to do a new course. It is worth mentioning, man, you can see all that wool over there. Yeah, we definitely got to run another batch down there. I've been checking on the greenhouses. They are just pushing away, just working away, doing great. The water distribution seems to be much, much better after forgetting to turn it on the other day. And I have been emptying the straw out of the grain greenhouses so that we can keep them in production, and have been dropping that straw off in the TMR silo to keep our TMR production up as well. So let's run in here, and we're on field to 60, no, it's 50. So let's run in here, and I feel like, do we have a seeder? Yeah, we have a seeder, and there's seeder for course 50. I don't think this has anything to do with what we are currently trying to do. So I want to delete the seeder folder as well. because we're not using that. And let's go find the planter folder. Excellent. I want to do 2 headlands, no rounded corners. That is the ticket. We'll send him on the way. Planter, save course, 50. Rockin' and rollin'. Looking good. This thing is going to tear through this very, very small field. We will have to come back and deal with the weeds at some point, but that is a task for another day, as they say. Heading over here to the sheep pen. Let's get the wool loaded up. How'd we do? Remember, we left a couple of extra bales over here. Guess we got to get over here for their food. 79,000 out of 120. So this sheep pen's burning through, I mean, let's call it 5 bales a day. I'm going to take 5 out. So we need 60 grass bales a year to keep up with the current demand for hay. Okay. We'll just take it out this way. That's not a problem. I suppose we could check the sale, and if there was a reasonably priced telehandler, we could look at that. I'm not sure. I think the telehandler, even on sale, is going to be about 100K, and I'm not sure we want to drop our balance down that low. It would be nice to have some money in the bank waking up in October. We know we're going to have about a $50,000 payment coming out in the morning. So spending all of our money now would leave us in a rough spot. Now, what I'm interested to see is how is the manure in the BGA going to work out? Because you remember, we turned on silage in the BGA. We turned on silage distribution to get the silage over to the TMR mixer, and in doing so we sent a bunch of silage to the BGA. So rather than trying to go and extract it, which I don't even quite frankly think is possible, I just turned on the silage bunker at the BGA so that we can make a little bit extra money. So I'm hoping that's going to bump us up a little bit more. Might leave this guy here just until this afternoon and see when he fills up. So knowing that we're going through 5 bales a day, we have 9, we'll call it 10. One's a partial, it's about a half. 10 bales, so we have 2 months worth of hay in here. So we need to be pulling some hay out of our TMR mixer. We do have 1.6 million liters of TMR, and guys, I filled the pastures, or the pens, last night. So we have 470,000 liters in the buffalo pen and 410 in the cow barn. So we are in good shape when it comes to TMR. So just checking the milk while we're in here, 22,000 plus 113 already in there. Yeah, I think we're going to have to find a solution to the to the milk problem on the farm. So last order of business for today before we wrap up, I will get the barley field rolled off camera. Or actually, you want to know what? I'll do that as a time lapse here at the end, since we haven't used the new Dalbo roller. So we'll end with that. When I say goodbye to you guys, I'll put that video on from later on today, and so you guys can see the new roller at work. But we do need to go grab a couple of bales off of the grass field to keep that mower from getting tangled up. Just checking to see if there's anything in here that calls our name. That is a cool little truck, no use for it. Another truck and another Superior end dump trailer. This is a smaller one. Could be useful. We'd have to have a dolly to link them together. Does this one have an option for a rear hitch? Mud flaps, mud attachers. Yeah, it has a rear hitch. So we could link this trailer to our existing one. Just not sure it's worth $55,000 to do so. The Crone straw harvest pack. I guess we could do straw pellets, but those are harder to handle, and I prefer bales. That's not a great option. We have oats, we have molasses. Nothing here, guys, that is really speaking to me. Gonna make a big difference on the farm if we pick it up. This is a cool planter here. Look at this thing. That is sharp looking. Yeah, and then we're back up. The only thing I saw in here, we could get the Crone just to increase our working speed. It doesn't increase our working width. But with as much grass cutting as we're doing, that would free up the Magnum a little bit more, but that's still $270,000. So yeah, nothing in the sale. I do, just out of curiosity, wonder how much a stationary baler would be. I'm trying to remember which one does that. Is it one of the... I may not be remembering, or I may not have it in here. Let's see. Excellent Crone, configuration standard, bale collect. And then we got a little bit of what kind of twine we want. That's not it. I swear, I'll have to look it up. I may have to download it, but I swear there was one you could get that unfolded. I think it was the Go Wheel pack, which I just must not have installed, but gave you basically a stationary baler. And I thought that one of the ones from the straw harvest had, that must be the Primos. Yeah, I think it's the Primos that does that. Yeah, so nothing in here. Oh, Lizard Colossus Balemaster, $100,000. And yeah, there's the hopper. So that's it. $100,000, and we can make all the hay bales we want. So that's what we're going to need. We'll have to find that somewhere else, or find the money when we have a little bit more of it. So for right now, let's go grab the aluminum flat deck trailer, go grab some bales off the grass field, get them fed into the TMR mixer, and I will bring you guys some footage of rolling the barley field. So I'm going to go get the bales taken care of, but I will give you that footage from the rolling before you guys head out. But thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to drop a like and turn on notifications for more videos. Channel memberships are available if you want to support my content further, and channel members do get early access to upcoming videos. That's all for today, but I'll see you in the next one.